It is season 2, episode 20 of the Daily Intermission podcast. I'm joined, as always, by Nate Brown. How are we doing today?
Nathan Mitchell Brown, social insurance number 133. I'm doing pretty good, man. Caught the Love is Blind finale on Friday.
Okay.
So that's a heater. Had a big bet win last night, too. A little shot prop bet. So
We're not talking parlays. We'll talk parlays. I'm gonna formally apologize to all the backers of Project Parlay that we do over here on Saturdays. Obviously, devastating that the Cavaliers couldn't pull through. So 2 points,
close.
2 points away in the basketball game for the 5-legger to hit. But the Archer, the Pick Doctor, and Parlay PD will all be returning next week for the project. That was good fun though. It was electric.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. We're getting there.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting there. I mean, Archer came in with the pick. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I loved that pick. We were talking about DeRozan when we were at the golf sim. We were like, yeah, man, it's an absolute lock. Like, he's obviously go. So I love that one. Really thought the Cavs, I thought that was the next one that was like a guarantee.
Honestly, we're going to have to talk to the Pick Doctor because there's nothing more nervy than a UFC fight. Because honestly, it doesn't matter what the odds are. Like, these things can go either way. I mean, I'm watching this Jonathan Rodriguez guy, and like the first round, like he's just all he was throwing was kicks, and this other guy was like dialed in. And
well, that was a crapshoot, dude. Like Rodriguez, I had money on the guy.
Yeah.
So anyone that was obviously listened to the live last night or was on the live, like,
oh, that was a different Rodriguez, but yeah, the Gregory Rodriguez later on.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Wait, all right, well,
Yeah.
I lost money on a Rodriguez also. And don't even get me started on Evan Rodriguez last night. He didn't even hit that. No.
All the Rodriguez had a tough night last night.
They did.
But yeah, we'll be back next Saturday for Project Parlay, and I think it's a fun little gig we got going on Saturdays. So make sure you're tuning in and make sure you're hitting that with the boys because one's going to hit and one's going to pay.
Next week, I think, hits.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's so close right now. And we got all the boys coming back too.
Yeah.
So it's going to be...
There's a little chemistry in the room
we
right
got
now.
chemistry in the room big time. Morale high.
Nate, just staying in the pregame show, I should say, we got Q1 NBA, Q2 NHL. We got a halftime show. Which team do they play for? We got a little Q3 PGA Tour action, then Q4 we'll bring it home with some MMA. But Nate, staying in the pregame show, we got Jackson Mahomes. And Jackson Mahomes this week, I mean, this guy's been gaining attention. I mean, we've talked about it on the podcast. I mean, he's just, people beat him online. And he's a whipping boy online. He just does some outrageous things.
We kind of beat him online.
Yeah, we're a part of it. Yeah, we're not bullying by any means.
No.
But some of his antics are certainly clownish, and he's on the field doing TikTok dances. He's very he's got almost a zero self-awareness.
Yeah.
But some businesses, obviously the first business that came out, he rolled up to a restaurant that was obviously at capacity. Rolled up with like 8-10 friends and was like, I'm Patrick Mahomes' brother. I need a table. And they're like, we don't care that you're Patrick Mahomes' brother.
Yeah, we are full.
Yeah.
Like, we can't just root people out of their seats because you're Jackson Mahomes.
Exactly. So this week, a company came out. So what they do is they do kind of like a drop shipping with candy, and they send you like a box of candy. Anyway, he said he was a big fan. He DM'd them. All the DMs are public now. You can go catch it online. But this company sent him a $250 box. But in kind of before it happened, they were like, yeah, we'll send you this, but make sure you give us a shout out and do a little review on your Instagram or your TikTok. You've got a lot of following and it'll be good advertising.
That's just the way it is now.
That'll be a mutual deal. We don't just send free things to people.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he gets it and he just absolutely ghosts them. Like, they've got the UPS receipt saying it was delivered, and he just doesn't do anything. He doesn't post anything for them. Like, that is scumbag.
Oh, for sure, man. It's like, what? Like, why even? I just don't understand why you even do that. Like, what is the
motive?
What do you? Yeah, like what?
Yeah.
You got candy. And now you're not gonna, it takes a second to throw up a post.
Well, that's just it. I mean, if you're going to receive things for free too, you got to understand too, a small business, they're sending you, a bunch of, free inventory, then you got to do something. You got to hold up your end of the bargain. It's just such a scumbag move.
It is.
This guy, like, I can't remember, Nate. I was thinking the other day, like, think about all the heavy stars in professional sports. You don't oftentimes have a sibling of this magnitude just come out and just steal the spotlight just it just takes away from Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
like, it's like, man, your brother is such a tool.
Yeah. I love the play by the company, by the way, too, like going to TMZ. Like, they're getting triple, maybe even like 10 times the publicity what they were getting, like going to TMZ, because now everybody's all up on him. I mean, it's just, no one's a huge fan of Jackson just from like all these little things that keep going on. And now the candy company's kind of like all over the place,
I might DM that candy company later and say, listen, we'll do a big TikTok for you. and I'm gonna reach out actually later on today.
I like it.
You know,
we're not.
We're not gonna grease you, but we'll definitely get you some publicity. I was thinking the other night. I mean, we rolled in. We're a little bit fresh today than we were a week ago, but
you got that.
I was thinking, what are the top drunk foods? Like when you're absolutely polluted.
Like you would ask me this last weekend and be like, "Oh, dude, like
we would have been much more down than nuggets would be up there for sure." But like, give me like 3 foods that it's like, if you're hammered, those are top of the list. Because I didn't eat after the bar last weekend, and then I woke up and I'm like,
same.
We recorded and I didn't eat, and then all of a sudden you go on this absolute feed, and it's like, there's nothing better than a hungover. You can put on such a feeding when you're hungover.
I usually my go-to when I'm hungover is sushi.
Okay.
I'll get like a big old fleet of it, and then it's like I'll be hungover, like I'm not really feeling doing anything. You know what I mean? You're just kind of vegging out on the couch. So I'll usually get the sushi. It'll usually fill you up for the day pretty well, you know?
Yeah.
So I usually do that. But drunk food wise, like I'm a McNuggets.
Okay.
They hit absolutely astronomically differently when you're hammered.
Yeah.
I mean, pizza. It's just maybe the most accessible drunk food of all time.
For sure. I think pizza's got to be number one on most people's list, just because it just seems like when you're walking outside of a bar, there's just 9 pizza places ready to rock.
Yeah, there is. They're always open.
Yeah.
The other thing is, too, I feel like a lot of people kind of have like that guilty pleasure of it. It's like, I'm not going to go grab a slice of pizza. It's going to make me feel bad. But when you're drunk, it's like, give me that pizza.
Oh, for sure.
So there's 2. And then, I don't know, man, maybe like, I would go something greasy just because, like, you're drinking anyway. It's like, all right, like these calories are kind of just going.
Yeah.
I don't know. Give me like Mazda sticks or something.
Okay.
Something that I'm not going to, like, when I'm sober, I'm not going to be like, I would love a fleet of Mazda sticks right now.
I used to play under the impression, like, my party days are behind me, but I used to, be in the social scene quite frequently. And I used to have this ideology, Nate, that when I would go out and I would be like, I've got to eat now, so I'll be less hungover, like the food will soak up. I mean, it's just not true.
No.
It's all about hydration and electrolytes and everything like that. But I used to think that way, and I put on a massive amount of LBs in my prime drinking days, just due to the fact that I would go fly in 2 slices donair sauce. You know, I mean, I'm a big advocate for spinach dip when I'm buckled. I love spin dip.
Roasted red pepper dip.
Oh yeah, yep.
Oh
yeah.
Just when you were talking about like strategies to not be hungover, a friend of the show, Stu the Glue Ken.
Yeah.
That guy has a notorious schedule.
Does he?
Yeah. Like when he gets home, he takes a shower before he goes to bed.
Okay.
Like everything, and he never gets hungover.
Wow.
Or something like that. I know the shower's mixed in. I don't know what the
That's
other
another thing. When people
are,
like, I know I went to school with a girl and she always claimed she could never get hungover. It's like, well, like, you got to consume what I'm consuming because I can't move the next day.
That's like when you get like, there's like a girl collects who'd be like, I can outdrink you. It's like, okay, first off, no, you can't.
Yeah.
Like there's no shot. It's like, let's go. Let's do it. Like you can't.
But just the fact that that people don't get hungover, I mean, I just think that that's just simply
a lie.
That's a tale.
Yeah, it's foolish.
But it just kind of concluding the pregame show here. We wanted to shout out TaylorMade, individual from California, TaylorMade rep. Hooked the boys up, sending the boys brand new TaylorMade Stealths. We're fired up to game those this summer. I was in need of a new driver, so I'm so pumped.
That's a little in the archives video of Greg snapping the thing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I hated that thing. I got it when I was off to UMB. I kind of celebrated my acceptance with getting a new driver and paid for it off the. I mean, I don't know, paid $700 for it and couldn't hit the thing 250 yards.
Yeah. I mean, I was okay with my old one, but I was getting ready for a new one anyway. So this honestly works out. Shout out TaylorMade.
Yeah, it's gonna be big. I mean, there's nothing better than rocking the same gear as like Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, Dustin Johnson, Xander Schauffele. We're rocking the same D-stick as they are.
Yeah, I'm just walking down the course now, looking like I'm trying to go pro. I got the Stealth, I got the Sim 2 3-wood. That's like, who is this stick? It's like you see me swing. It's like, oh my lord, I think he has polio.
But that'll conclude the pregame show of episode 20, season 2 of the Intermission podcast. Nate, we're getting into quarter 1, and it's NBA talk we're heading into. And the other night, your Wizards were taking on the Spurs.
Good Lord on earth.
And it went into double overtime. And this was my narrative.
Vintage Wizards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
this was my narrative by taking the Cavs 7.5 yesterday, because on Friday evening, they went in double overtime versus Spurs. It was 157 to 153. I can't remember the last time a game went to 310 combined points. It was insane.
Well, I mean, even we go back to like one of our TikToks we posted yesterday was the NBA trivia, and I asked you what was the highest highest points a team has put up. And I mean, it's 186. I mean, they were getting there.
Yeah, they were flying in.
Another overtime, I was scrolling through my betting app, and I saw the box score, and I was like, 150. I'm like, that can't be right. And I went over, I'm like, holy smokes, double OT. Like, that is just something you don't see in basketball that much. Like,
there's just no defense being played in that game, man.
Well, I mean, geez.
But you didn't even have Beal or Porzingis playing.
I know. That's what surprised me. And then you had Kuzma leading the way with 36. I'm like, that's a pretty even split for the boys. Like, what, did everybody bang 30 out?
Yeah, I mean, Caldwell Pope was playing well. All the former Lakers who they thought they didn't need anymore, who they sent to Washington for Russ, have been playing well.
That's right.
Yeah, Kuzma looked good, and then on the other side of the ball, DeJounte Murray, obviously the young stud, fresh off his first All-Star game, played well for the Spurs. But yeah, that was such an outrageous game, Nate. And I wanted to talk about too. Like, I mean, we talked about. You asked me on trivia yesterday was what is the least amount of points scored in a basketball game? 18.
Yeah.
18.
Yeah, and it's crazy because 18, and then the second lowest was 19, and it was the same game. So there was a few games back there in like the late 40s into the 50s before the shot clock came out. So I want to do some research on this a little more before I like dive too deep into it, but I really want to see a basketball game with no shot clock. It used to be foul central, I guess, and fans used to just leave the arenas. They were like, "This is brutal."
They'd be just like standing at half court, just draining. Oh, they didn't need to drain anything.
Exactly. Well, and imagine there was probably no like backcourt violation. There was probably no like get over half. Yeah. Back then they wouldn't have had much for time. So it was probably just an absolute. It was basically like a hockey game with a basketball.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that was an absolute gong show. Obviously, the Wizards went on to lose last night to the Cavs by 6.
So tough week for the boys. I also wanted to touch on too, just like some of the guys that the Wizards have had that just haven't like they had Westbrook. Yep. You got Beal, like Wall didn't work out. Yep. Michael Jordan, dude. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they just have these guys, and this squad's just awful.
Spencer Dinwiddie's a guy that comes to mind as well, and we'll see how Porzingis does. But yeah, they've been they're I don't know what. There's just so many teams in the NBA right now. It's like, what the heck do you do? And it's almost like you got to go with the old OKC approach. You sell everything that you have for as many draft picks as humanly possible, and then you just trust your young guys. I mean, this Shai Gilgeous-Alexander fella from OKC he's an absolute stud, Canadian guy, and OKC's got, I mean, they've got outrageous amount of draft picks in the next few years. Yep. So it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it sucks because like the Wizards just did that like 10 years ago. When they got Wall and Beal. Like, sold off, and then it's like it just didn't work. Like not every team gets that lucky.
For sure. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we'll see what happens in Washington. But DeMar DeRozan continues to stay hot. I mean, before last night, he had, I think, 8 straight games with 35-plus points. Yep. I mean, he's got to be in the MVP conversation. I know Embiid and Jokic are right back, but, I mean, the Bulls they're first in the East, and he's having an incredible year. I mean, you love to see DeMar DeRozan. We talk about it all the time, Nate, how, his departure from Toronto was so sad. But, I mean, this guy is on an absolute heater.
He's on the absolute vengeance tour. I love it. And, if you would have told me at the start of the year, be like, DeMar DeRozan's going to be up for MVP, I probably would have I wouldn't have believed you. Like, it's not like, I don't think he's bad by any means. It's just like when I think of MVP, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, well, he doesn't seem as like he's like a top prominent 10 guy in the league, but
exactly. But
and two, like he's like there's just so many studs on the Bulls now that it's like you didn't even think that he'd have the opportunity to really showcase his talents, night after night. But he certainly has, and the Bulls look like a wagon, and I think that. I mean, the East is going to be hard, no question. Sure. I mean, the Bucks and the 76ers and the Nets, but I think the Bulls will be right in the mix. I think they can play, some good series, and I mean, the playoffs in the NBA are just around the corner. I mean, they've got like 24, 23 games left. So
I was thinking that for the NHL too. I mean, it'd be a hell of a preseason pick by you. I mean, Greg took the Bulls in the preseason.
We'd be back to back.
Yeah.
If the Oilers win, we'd be 3 for 3, but it's going to be interesting to see. The deadline obviously is passed in the NBA, but the deadline in the NHL will be looking closely, and teams obviously can really bolster their chances and kind of makeshift what they look like. But Markelle Fultz, Nate, former first overall pick. I mean, this guy, he's just got bust right now all over him. I mean, he came into the league for the 76ers as a first overall pick, and he couldn't shoot. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I find it funny. I remember a few years ago looking at like his highlights, and it was just like everything he looked at. It's like there wasn't highlights. It was literally low light videos of him just like, and then there was, what was the thing where Ben Simmons like kind of trolled him when he wasn't looking?
Yeah.
The free throw line. Do you remember that? I know there's a lot of like just random stuff, but he was like Ben Simmons just like looking away and like just shot the shot or something.
It's insane that a guy first overall pick lost his shot somewhere along the lines and couldn't shoot, but he's making a return after 13 months, and so we'll continue to track him. I know he kind of got his game back. He started to look okay, but oh man, Markelle Fultz. I mean, he talk about a guy who's been cyberbullied about his shot and his game. I mean, it's nice to see him back in the NBA though after a 13-month absence. James Harden suited up in his first game for the Philadelphia 76ers, put up 27 points, hit his vintage step fadeaway. I mean, this is one thing, Nate. I mean, this guy's been hitting these step back fadeaways, but I don't know what a travel is and what a travel isn't. I mean, it just seems like in the NBA, we watch a lot of these big guys inside the paint, and for example, James Harden on his step back. Is he not traveling?
See, I don't know. Like, I mean, half the time he doesn't get called anyway. I mean, you ever see a compilation video on YouTube of like travels?
No.
Oh, it is some of the most humorous stuff. They'll count the steps. Like some guys take 9 steps. Just run right to the hoop. They don't even call it. And like some guys are like off to the side, like, what is like, how are you not calling that? Like they don't call it, man.
A famous one is like after a point, the inbound, like Russ Westbrook used to just kind of just walk with the ball. He got called for it eventually.
Yeah.
But Seth Curry did that last night on the inbound. He just walks like 5 steps with the ball in his hands and then starts dribbling. It's like, well, I'm pretty sure that's travel.
Yeah, I know. It's such a weird thing because, if it's like minor basketball, like you're getting absolutely dinged right away.
Yeah.
But like it gets to the NBA, it's like, we can't call.
And it's probably player specific as well. Like a guy like LeBron 100%. Did it, like they're not calling it.
No.
And
imagine calling him for a travel. LeBron would be like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah. Do you know who I am?
Yeah. My brother's Jackson Mahomes. No,
but yeah, Harden, looking good in Philly, and they could be a scary team moving forward, man. Joel Embiid obviously having a tremendous year, and you throw James Harden in the mix, who didn't like it in Brooklyn, didn't like it in Houston, so
doesn't like it anywhere.
Yeah, so we'll see if he can find a prominent role there and take them on a little playoff run. But staying, finally in the NBA, Nate, just to wrap things up, we got Victor Oladipo, who's making his return for the Heat, and this is another team. I guess I didn't mention them when I was talking about the East contenders, but the Heat are certainly a contender, and Victor Oladipo. I mean, for all the listeners, remember Victor Oladipo. I mean, this guy was an absolute stud for OKC. He ended up blowing out his knee in a very gruesome injury. Had to miss a full year. Came back with the Pacers and looked okay, and then and now he's in Miami. So if he can find a little bit of his game, like he's a guy who can put up 20, 25, 30 points every night. I mean, this is going to be a great addition if they can find some find a role for him, maybe even off the bench. And I'm assuming it'll be off the bench, but Victor Oladipo, it's going to be fun to see him back and healthy. I mean, he's been a complete Band-Aid, but it's certainly good news for the Heat, Nate.
Remember when he blew his knee out? It was terrible.
It was gruesome.
Oh my goodness. There was that guy in March Madness too a few years ago, man. Those are the worst. But yeah, he looked pretty good. I mean, geez, like Butler, they're right up there with the Bulls, are they not?
Yeah, they're tied for first in the East, and I mean, you got Bam Adebayo, and you got obviously Kyle Lowry's there now, and Tyler Hero can absolutely make it drip. So that's a team that, and they're a team that like seems gritty to me. Like any team that Jimmy Butler's on, like it's just a grit fest.
Jimmy Butler's a beauty.
Yeah, and I mean they almost beat the Raptors back in 2019. I mean, Game 7. I mean, that if that Kawhi shot doesn't go down, who knows what happens?
Yeah,
that was Jimmy buckets and Joel Embiid. So we'll see how the Heat look move forward, and obviously they'll welcome the addition of Victor Oladipo.
Just Jimmy Butler, fantastic acting role in Office Christmas Party as well.
We've talked about that underrated movie.
It's so funny, dude. T.J. Miller, that guy's jokes.
It's a fantastic movie. I remember I watched that near Christmas, and unreal flick. Yeah. Jennifer Aniston, I think, is in that.
Yeah.
Is she? No, who? Yeah, I think she is.
Is she?
Yeah, she is. She's she's the sister, and then she's like taking over the company.
Right. Yes.
Like because they're both siblings, TJ and Jennifer.
I watched some like Disney movie the other night or Pixar, Big Hero 6, and I was like listening to the voices and was like, is that TJ Miller? He's like doing the voice for some like random thing, man. He is so funny.
That's funny when you hear those cartoons with the voiceovers and you know who it is.
You ever seen She's Out of My League?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That he kills it in that too. He's hilarious.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah, he's best buddies. And the airport, they're all working at the airport together.
So jokes.
But Nate, that'll conclude quarter one. We're moving into quarter two of season 20 or season 2, episode 20.
Season 20. We've been doing this for 45 years,
Yeah,
folks.
that's right. But we're moving into the National Hockey League, Nate, and
Yo.
we're going to start things off in the East Coast Hockey League. Some very odd news came out this week that Sean Avery, I mean, he was kind of mouthing off on Instagram that he was going to make a return. He hadn't played professional hockey since 2011.
Yeah.
Goes down to Florida and signs a contract with the Orlando Solar Bears. And I mean, it's a good move probably by the Orlando Solar Bears. It created a lot of buzz. I was definitely going to see how he was going to play. Just good publicity. But after a few days, after a few bag skates, he decided that it wasn't for him. And it's like,
well, they just released him, didn't they?
yeah, but I don't think he
kind of had a little.
He was like missing his kid and he wanted to go back with his family. And
Right.
he just understood that, I mean, this lifestyle is a bit more of a grind than I
remembered.
Yeah,
exactly. And he probably thought the East Coast League would maybe be a little like less than
For sure.
But yeah, weird all around. I mean, you had George LaRocque reaching out too, like I'll go beat the wheels off him.
Yeah, Matt
Sign
Barnaby.
me. Yeah, Matt Barnaby as well. Like everyone wanted to fight him, so it's I don't know, weird stuff going on, but weirder stuff happens usually through the course of a season. But that is something I would not expect if you're going to tell me early in the year that Sean Avery was going to be on the Solar Bears.
Yeah, I mean,
The Solar Bears.
yeah, just he's such an outrageous follow on Instagram. If you don't follow Sean Avery, I mean,
Bike lanes.
he's all over the bike lanes in New York. He's always ripping. I mean, his actually play-by-play and NHL analysis isn't actually that bad.
No, he usually just rips into one dude though.
Yeah,
It's like the most bizarre. Like,
but it's not oftentimes like maybe they don't do enough of that in the NHL. They're really good at it in the NFL, but like it's a fast game. But like Sean Avery's good at like pointing out a guy and like showing you what he could have done. It's like film with him.
Ray Ferraro is really good at that
he
too.
is.
When
Yeah.
he's on, I've always liked listening to Ray Ferraro on telecast like
Yeah.
that.
Kevin Bieksa is actually not too bad at it,
Yep.
but Nate, yesterday was a stadium series down in Nashville, Tennessee. They took on the Tampa Bay Lightning and ended up losing, I do believe.
Yeah, it was 3-2 Tampa.
3-2 Tampa, and the jerseys looked electric. The outdoor game, I'm like, do we do too many of these?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a cool thing because you get, people get to go out and it's like, it's a spectacle, right? Like they're trying to like just grow it up. And like you got, what is it, Walker Hayes they had going at the halftime kind of thing or intermission, I believe.
Yeah.
Playing at
Well, yeah, in Music City, that's where all the country stars are.
for sure. Guys chugging beers at a fish. Like it'd be a cool thing to go to and attend. It's just like when you actually physically watching the game, you're so far back.
Yep.
It's a tough time. But I mean, the atmosphere would definitely be unreal.
No, absolutely.
But as for too many of them, I'm starting to lean that way.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, I mean, just the notoriety and the I'm not sure if they hold the same substance as just having like that kind of that New Year's outdoor game. But
I like the Winter Classic.
yeah, I think so. I do.
If they did Winter Classic and then one Stadium Series maybe a year,
yeah,
that'd be okay. But
we've got another outdoor game just around the corner with the Leafs and Buffalo Sabres.
How many did the Leafs get to play, by the way? Like, I know they're going to draw pretty big, but like, holy smokes, man.
Next year's Winter Classic, I'm going to be going to. My old man and I said we're going to be going. It's Pittsburgh, Boston at Fenway.
No shot.
Yeah.
Oh my,
Yeah.
that's sick.
Monster seats for that would be would be
Yeah,
legendary. But
that's a must attend.
yeah, so Boston, Pittsburgh next year. But yeah, I mean, I like the idea. I think there might be a few too many right now. I don't know. The hype around it was kind of minimal, and plus two yesterday, with a lot of NBA going on, and then the Leafs and playing on Saturday night against Detroit, and it being there's 17 goals scored in the game.
That
It's like
game was
a lot of people are flipping over to that game and watching it, and then obviously we should give a shout out to Colin White making his return to
absolute beauty.
Making his return to the Ottawa Senators and absolutely bangoing.
He almost had one like 30 seconds into right off the post.
Yeah.
The kid's hot.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But Nate, I wanted to talk about the Vancouver Canucks, and obviously they had a big 7-1 win over the Calgary Flames earlier in the week, and they were rocking their old school. Like, what do you call that logo?
They call it this. I believe it's like the skate blade.
Okay,
So it's like it's a skate in that Canucks one.
circle, yeah,
Yeah, the circle.
and then the lines.
Yeah, there's a skate in there.
But I'm a big fan of that logo. Big fan of the jersey. I mean, we've talked about it, how black jerseys look so sharp.
Yeah.
Do you think teams? I mean, like, what do you think the landscape is right now? How do you feel about the jerseys in the NHL? And I mean, we're not going to have much control over this,
No.
because due to the fact that jerseys will always be changing because of the incremental revenue. I mean, you're not going to just continue to have a jersey for a decade because guys will buy one jersey, or fans will buy one jersey. But I am a huge fan of those Vancouver Canucks unis, and I think that should be a full time.
I do too, because especially when you look at like how kind of close their colors are to Seattle, where that rivalry is eventually going to take over.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, you want to get those switched up. I've never been too big on the Canucks like green and blues. I always like the ones when Naslund.
The maroon ones are filth.
Yeah, the ones when like Naslund and the boys played in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
even that one that's like
blue,
translucent that goes through. Yeah. It's disgusting.
That is, yeah.
But when I look at just I'm not sure. Were you asking if like what do you want for jerseys like on a team kind of thing?
Yeah,
like,
just look across the landscape and you know, how do you think the current conditions are in regard to jerseys? You know, do you think teams are doing a good job? Do you think, you know, is there some changes demanded? I think Buffalo.
Well, I love the reverse retro the other last year when they brought that in, but then it was like, I mean, you had a half season and they kind of just washed them.
For sure.
But when I look at like a team, like when you look at the NBA, like, you know, we've talked about it many times on the podcast, like you can go on there and sometimes you don't know what team's playing. So I think that might be a little bit overkill.
Yeah.
But like when I look at like just for Washington, like I would take their home and away, and then I would have their retros like alternate. So I like an alternate that is a home alternate and away alternate as well.
Yeah.
And then maybe like another jersey, but like have as many jerseys in rotation as possible.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, like
I agree. I'm on it. Like I'll think the Boston. Like I'm a big like they've just pretty much changed. Like on their dark jerseys, they wear the black with the B.
Yeah,
and I'm a big fan.
Nice change Boston made. I believe it was like 2017 or 18 was when they changed the socks.
Yeah, because they didn't match.
Yeah,
right.
Well, they had the yellow. I was like, those are the worst socks of all time, and now they look so sharp.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, looking across the league, a lot of the original six, you can't really do too much because I think they're just such staples and they look so good. But
it's like that reverse retro when Detroit came out. We're like, well, that is a practice jersey.
I couldn't believe that.
Yeah.
Especially with the all red jersey, Detroit is just dirty.
Yeah, I like their white ones too.
Yeah. It's just
Chicago's white is probably the best white in the league, I think.
Oh.
It's nice.
It's beautiful. But yeah, we'll see. You know, obviously, you know, we're big fans of some jerseys. More jerseys. Nate, I wanted to talk about the Philly Flyers before we head into the halftime show of episode 20 of season 2. But like, what's going on there? You know, they're a team that you know, they made a lot of acquisitions in the offseason. You're bringing in Ryan Ellis, you bring in Ristolainen, you bring in Cam Atkinson, you get rid of Voracek, who, by the way, is having an incredible year. Yeah. He's got like almost 40 assists.
He's got 2 goals.
Does he?
That's how he is, though. You know, he's always been a guy that's like 15 goals and like 60 assists. It's like, holy smokes, Vorey.
But man, the Flyers. I mean, is it time to absolutely blow the foundation out of the place?
I have no idea, and I don't know what they're doing with Giroux.
Yep.
But I mean, if they move Giroux, you may as well.
Yeah.
Because it's already at the point where it's. I mean, they played fairly well against Washington. They were kind of holding on for dear life yesterday. Till the bitter end. Like it was the last like 11 minutes, and they were kind of doing the old like hang back and chip the puck out, and Washington was kind of bringing it on, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you look up and down that lineup. You got Atkinson they brought in, which I thought was an awesome pickup. He's playing well. I mean, JVR is kind of just there. I feel like, you know,
I feel as if he's on the back nine, maybe the ladder of his back nine of his NHL career.
I mean, the issue I think here is like you're paying him $7 million. I mean, Kevin Hayes is getting $7 million as well. Kevin Hayes at least makes like a bit of a difference. Like JVR's out there. Like I don't notice the guy. He may as well not be on the squad, but I like their D too. I mean, Ellis been hurt all year.
Yeah,
Ristolainen's obviously. I'm not big on Ristolainen, but like Ivan Provorov's sick. Like I love Yandel too. It's just Carter Hart too. They should be better than they are.
100%. I mean, they're kind of a big surprise for me. I had them in the playoffs this year. Like I like the moves they made in the offseason. But yeah, I think it's time to blow things up. Like I think Giroux's going to move on. He'll have a lot of say in where he goes.
Yeah. If he goes to Colorado, book it.
It looks like, you know, he's going to have a lot of control with where he goes. And then I think that you got to move along from some of the other pieces. But another guy there, we should shout out in Philly, Zach McEwen. Doing his thing and becoming a real fan favorite there. I mean, he fights a lot. He kind of jumped Tom Wilson Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't think Tom was like ready to go in terms of like he cranked McEwen and then McEwen just insta-shed.
Yeah.
And then it took Wilson kind of a minute to get rid of his gloves. But no, McEwen's had a solid season doing his fourth line thing. But Nate, that'll conclude quarter 2. We're moving into the halftime show here. Yeah. And it is going to be what team do they play on? I'm not going to lie, Nate. I've got some greasy NHL players for you. I got a little NHL, NFL, and NBA. But you want to start things off here?
Yeah, I'll get her going. Mine aren't too greasy for you. They're actually fairly. You could theoretically go 10 for 10 here, and I got to get a little greasier on you because half the time I'm getting absolutely screwed out here. We're going Dominic Simone.
Dominic Simone, is he Pittsburgh?
He is.
Okay.
I was hoping to trick you because he went Pittsburgh, then to Edmonton, then back to Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Frederick
Gaudreau.
Freddie Gaudreau. He's on Nashville?
Minnesota.
That's right. Used to be on Nashville. Dang. Jose Barrios.
Jose Barrios. He's a pitcher for the Blue Jays.
That's correct.
Yep.
2 for 2. Here we go.
Taylor Radish.
Taylor Radish is Tampa.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Brandon Lowe, MLB.
Brandon Lowe. I want to say
it.
I don't know why the Twins come to mind, but the Twins. Or is he Tampa?
Tampa.
Oh.
Nice save. He's still alive, ladies and gents. He's 3 for 3.
Peyton Pritchard, NBA.
Oh, man, I haven't got a clue. Peyton Pritchard. The Trailblazers.
Celtics.
It's tough luck.
Yeah.
Jonathan Kuminga.
He's a Golden State Warrior.
Holy smokes, folks. He's going for it. 4 for 4.
Jacob Bryson, NHL.
Jacob Bryson. Dude, that is what? Like, I've never heard of the guy.
Think bottom basement.
Arizona?
Buffalo.
Jeez. Duamboya. NBA.
Sorry, can I get a pronunciation there?
See, that's the issue. Here, let me try. I'll try again here just a sec. Okay. I'm trying not to show the team here because I'm Siku Duamboya.
I'll say the Timberwolves.
Lakers.
Oh.
So it's pretty grease.
Kevin Knox, NBA.
Oh, I know this one. Kevin Knox. Jeez Louise.
I think Bally.
I'm going to Hawks.
Bang.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I thought, okay.
I
guess it's me, eh?
NHL, Justin Dan. Oh, no, it's
going
you.
2
Yeah.
for 2? Okay.
No, yeah.
But I know it. No, I just Noah Syndergaard.
The Mats.
Angels.
Oh, he left this offseason.
Those are the toughest ones. Like you got me with the Freddie Gaudreau one too.
Yeah.
It's like, well, geez.
Justin Danforth, NHL.
Dude, like, where are you pulling this? Okay, you got to give me I've never heard of this guy.
Columbus.
Oh, okay. I was going to say you got to give me a division at least.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, you can give me the squad. I wouldn't have guessed Columbus though. Kevin Rooney, NHL.
Kevin Rooney. Kevin Rooney. Oh, man.
You're going to know it when I say it.
Kevin Rooney. Gosh. God, it's not Dallas. It's I don't know. It's
East. I'll give you East.
Give me Philly.
Rangers.
Oh,
you knew that one.
I don't know if I did, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess he's not. Yeah, okay. Moving along. You didn't know Kevin Rooney?
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, if we want to.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, we'll go with Adam Humphries, NFL.
Oh, man. Jeez. Humphries. I'm going Pat.
He's a wide receiver on your Washington football team.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, kids got to watch a few more Commanders games.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Zach Sawchenko.
NHL?
Yep, goalie.
Gosh. Okay, Zach Zachenko. Man, I honestly, I'm gonna go with Anaheim.
Sharks. Close though.
Oh,
close though.
Okay, let's go Luke Glendening.
Oh boy. Don't think he's on Detroit anymore. He's a journeyman there. Am I crazy to say Pittsburgh here?
Dallas.
Oh, that's correct. Well, geez. Yaroslav Halak.
He's a backup in Vancouver.
That's correct.
Tyler Conklin, NFL.
Oh, boy.
Ty Conk.
Yeah.
NFC.
Give me the Commanders again.
Minnesota.
Oh, likes. Okay. Devontae Hightower.
Dante Hightower, the Patriots.
Yeah.
Dustin Mayo, NHL.
Dustin Mayo.
Dyson Mayo, I apologize.
Dyson Mayo. I haven't got a clue.
basement of the league. I was on some box scores from recent nights on some dust teams.
Mayo. I'm just gonna say Arizona.
Bang.
This is a joke.
That concludes it?
Yeah, that's her.
Wow, there were some tough ones there.
There was. Yeah, I didn't do particularly great. You got hot down early. With 4 for 4 off the start.
Yeah.
I think you must have got like 6 or 7 there. So,
gosh,
you got Halak. You had 4 off the start. You had at least 6.
I don't know who that Lakers gentleman was. Here,
I'll pull him up.
Yeah,
for you.
I just got to read his name. I think
probably. Yeah. That's the tough thing too when you're listening to it. I find it a lot easier if you can like look at a guy's name.
Because I butcher pronunciations mentally.
Yeah.
And
okay, let me see here.
But no, quarter 3 ahead. We got the PGA Tour. Quarter 4, we got MMA, a little UFC action. Oh yeah, I wasn't getting that. Holy smokes, young kid.
See, originally I pulled this guy up because it was nationality. I thought we were doing.
Oh my gosh,
he's from Guinea.
That would have been challenging. All right, quarter 3 PGA Tour. I wanted to start off talking about Phil Mickelson. Obviously, we've touched on the Saudi League in past episodes with Phil and everything going on with the tour players kind of threatening to move over to the Saudi League. But Phil just lost to his Workday sponsor. So for all golf fans, they know he was wearing the dress shirt for some time in the PGA Tour with the Workday logo, and now Callaway has paused his sponsorship. I mean, this guy is taking it from every which direction right now.
He is. It's tough. But I mean, like the stuff he came out and said was just kind of like,
what are you thinking?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like, especially in today's like kind of cancel culture, like this is going to go a little bit, and like you had to figure this was kind of inevitable, especially after KPMG dropped him. It's like, well, Callaway's probably coming next, so
for sure. And yeah,
where does he go from here?
These are long time sponsors, and I don't know if we're going to see Phil anytime soon.
KPMG was like the longest current one, was it not?
I'm not sure how long he's been rocking the KPMG, but I mean, you think about his hats that he's been rocking for years. It's been KPMG. I apologize, but Callaway. I mean, too. I think he's been playing Callaway the entire time he's been on tour.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough to see from Phil. But yeah, Nate, Honda Classic Week. That course, man, it's just eating people alive. We had Matt Denzer come on, and head of instructor down at the PGA National, and I'm pretty sure, I'm not going to quote him word for word, but he said that expect the scores to be low.
Yeah.
And like -2 right now is in the top 10. Like this course is eating people alive.
I mean, it's low, that's for sure. One and dones. One and done.
I don't particularly, I'm not proud to say this, but I took Matt Wolf, who came dead last.
Yeah.
Plus 17 in 2 days.
I mean, I wouldn't even call mine a one and done. I'd call it more of a done. Like there was no one about it.
Yeah.
Sung Jae also missed the cut.
Your guy.
And it's a shame.
You took your guy.
He's gonna have a tournament where he's gonna be up there and get like at least a little payout. I don't know if he's gonna actually win anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I could have got a better payout than Zilch, which would have been nice. It's my second missed cut already. I may as well torch myself. I'm done.
It's tough seeing name, and gosh, your favorite guy, but that's all right, man. We're gonna move forward. And
just to touch on my best bets too. Yeah. Sung Jae miscut.
Yeah.
Neiman miscut, and Brooksy.
He's in,
but it ain't looking good.
Yeah, my best bets weren't overly fantastic. I still got Ricky and Louie playing right now, but I think Tommy Fleetwood was an MC Hammer, and I mean, we're just gonna have to really evaluate, take a long look in the mirror for next week's best bets.
I really thought Sung Jae was gonna be okay, like just the past history. Win and then an 8th. It's like let's go
back on the horse. But
anyway, that's toast.
One of the top guns that was in the field this week is putting on a clinic. Daniel Berger. He's -11 and he's leading the way. Obviously, yesterday we'll find out how it concludes, but I don't see anybody catching Daniel Berger. I mean, he's got the most winning pedigree on the leaderboard right now. A lot of youngsters, and one of those being, I think 5 shots back now, is Canadian Adam Svensson. Fresh off the Corn Ferry Tour in 8th, and I mean, just a stick.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? First time every 18 out of 18 greens in regulation since, what did you say, 2007?
Yeah, first player to hit every single green in regulation. So for people who play golf, they understand how much of a feat that is, and I mean, and just insane. Hit every single green and have a birdie putt on every hole.
Yeah, you're dialed. I would have thought it would have been earlier than 2007 or like more recent.
Yeah, for sure.
I know it's a tough thing to do, but it just, I don't know.
It's just so difficult because I mean, one, to hit the fairway on the PGA Tour. I mean, I think like a really good fairway hitter hits it at about 70%, and then when you're in the roughs that they grow out there, then it gets tough to hit the greens.
Yeah,
the short games are so phenomenal.
Yeah, like you said too when we were off cam, it's like you got to put it into perspective. Like this is not your everyday course.
No,
you know what I mean. Like you can miss the fairway anywhere around here. It's like I'm gonna be all right.
Oh yeah,
you know, like but. Yeah,
some places it doesn't really even affect it. I mean, these guys.
I can think of somewhere real close.
Yeah, and then it's almost actually more beneficial.
I see, guys. It's the funniest when you get to like some random public course. It's like you're on hole 4. It's like it's actually theoretically easier to just absolutely blow one, yell 4, and then just play it off a 5. And it's like, what?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I mean, obviously. Canadian Adam Svensson in the mix, and I think this guy's going to have a long career. It gets crazy to see the Canadians on tour. You got Taylor Pendrith and Svensson fresh off the Canadian Tour. I mean, you got Mackenzie Hughes, who is oftentimes in the mix, and Corey Connors, obviously the ball striking machine that he is, and Adam Hadwin. You got a lot of Canadians. Roger Sloan. I mean, the Canadians on tour are piling up. It's just so fantastic to see, especially in Canada, where there's only a very remote place on Vancouver Island where you can play most of the year. So what a testament to the program. And it's crazy to think that Kent State has produced Mackenzie Hughes and Corey Connors, and we've got a friend of the show heading there next season for to take on their golf program. So we'll see if Willie Bishop can get in the mix here soon.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at Svensson here because I'm trying to figure out, like, he's got to have some Swedish descent, you'd reckon, hey?
Yeah, I would think. Yes, Svensson,
born in Surrey,
BC.
Yeah, so I mean that plays right into perfectly to what you said about how they would have like year-rounder.
Yeah,
which is sick.
Yeah.
Year round in Canada. I'm just trying to take a quick look here. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to pull anything up about it, but you have to reckon there's some Swedish in there. Maybe some Norwegian?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, Adam Svensson looking to catch Berger. I don't think he's going to run him down, but Nate, just to kind of preview next week, we're heading to the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill. Incredible event, super fun. And for all the people listening and don't, recollect what the Arnold Palmer Invitational is, well, you can just think to Bryson's famous clip last year. There's the par 5 that wraps around the water, and Bryson will be looking to drive the green, I'm assuming this season. He's going to be back. He's announced to defend his title. I cannot wait for the Arnold Palmer Invitational, man. That's going to be unreal.
Yeah, it's going to be sick, man. I hadn't realized that it was a year ago that we were watching him absolutely blow them over the lake doing the old point and go.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I'm taking him in the one and done this week. I got
nothing
to lose anymore, man.
Yeah.
I'm just absolutely going.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look into it.
It could be terrible.
I'm going to look into it.
Like, he could easily just hook him in the water. It's like, I've been MC'd again.
He's coming off an injury, and I mean,
that's right.
I don't really know what to think of Bryson right now in terms of he does so much social media. He runs a massive YouTube channel. He's always doing his long drive stuff. I know his work ethic's incredibly strong, but yeah, I mean, Nate, why not run it?
I'm going dirty and in from here on in. I might take DJ for the Palm Springs, just some random.
Players is going to be interesting because the Players is the 5th major, right? Justin Thomas won it last year. We'll see at Sawgrass. So we got some big events around the corner here in the Florida Swing. So it will continue to keep you updated. Hopefully next week we're going to be a little bit more sharp with our one and dones and our best bets. But hey, moving into quarter 4 in the MMA, and we were watching the MMA last night. I know you sprinkled Gregory Rodriguez, who ended up getting shafted.
Yeah, I don't know if the 3 blind. I go back to what Sam Alvey said, and I don't know if the 3 blind mice were running the judging table or what, but that was an absolute beatdown by him. You were looking at the headshots, and I don't know exactly how it gets scored. That's something that I've always kind of really never understood. I even tried to look into it, and it's just really, I have a hard time with it. But I mean, the guy had like 38 head bombs to the guy's like 14 or something, for maybe 24.
Yeah,
it's just like the other guy had a lot more body shots, but like, what does a body shot count for compared to a headshot?
And visually,
trying to punch a guy in the face.
Visually, it looked like this Gregory Rodriguez. He had it, but but now early on in the tilts, I mean, it's fun to sit down for an MMA event and just micro bet every single and you're not betting the favorite.
No,
you're always on the underdog.
Why not?
Yeah,
I made some great money on just betting on McGregor. Against McGregor when he was, because he'd come in and have the Vegas like hooking on him, like Khabib. I got him that time. I think I've talked about this before.
Poirier.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it is worth saying that Richard Fitzenwell, friend of the show,
he's a degen.
He's 100% degenerate when it comes to the UFC gambling scene, but we love it. And he was all over. There was Nunez fighting. Josie Nunez was fighting, and she's like an up and coming individual. And she was fighting an Asian lady who plays rugby. She's got a rugby background. She was fighting up a weight class, and she was the heavy favorite. Nunez was, but we hammered it plus 400 for her to win by decision.
Yeah,
won by decision. Like those are juicy odds to win on a. It was a sketchy round. We watched. This rugby player ended off having 2 closed black eyes, and she took an absolute beating.
She was also doing some war cries prior to the fight that I was like, that's enough for me to just peel out of the ring.
Yeah.
But anyway, she went in there, and then I was like, holy smokes, what's going on? It seemed like the most seems so conserved against her. I believe, Greg, and don't hold me accountable here, but I believe I'm having a stroke.
Okay.
Anyway, it was a crazy fight. But I look back to when the last time Nunez fought, and we were looking at the odds, and she was like minus 600. We were like, man, it wouldn't be a shame to sprinkle the opposite, but I don't think we did. Well, I didn't. I don't know if you did or not, but then she ended up losing.
I know, Amanda Nunez, different Nunez, but that's all right. Yeah, Amanda Nunez, the last time she fought.
How many Rodriguez's and Nunez's are fighting in one? Like, what's going on here? Like, how am I supposed to keep track of this crap?
But you're right. You're right. I think there's a rematch coming with Amanda Nunez soon, so I think I'll be back on.
Amanda Nunez. Then her third cousin's coming in for the next fight.
For sure. But the headliner last night, it was Bobby Green versus this Mikachev character from Russia.
How about Armin from Armenia quick, too? Absolutely greasing me on the Rodriguez.
Yeah, that's right.
No shot. I know we just talked about it, but Armin from Armenia. But sorry, go ahead.
That would actually be a good guest nationality. We're actually gonna have to dive into some UFC fighters for the guest nationality.
Sure, that would be tough.
We
looked at the Armenian flag last night. We were like, I've never seen that in my life.
Yeah, for sure. Armenian flag. But this Mikachev guy, he's 22-1, and he looks like an absolute animal. He's got Nate, you got to remind me right now. My brain is fried. But guy who's retired. He's one of the best UFC fighters of all time from Dagestan or from Russia.
From Russia.
Khabib, sorry.
Khabib's
in his corner.
I was thinking it wasn't Khabib, so I was like digging a little deeper because I was like, oh.
He'll remember Khabib, but no. Sometimes my brain's just all over the place. But Khabib's in his corner, and this Mikachev guy beat him in the first round, so he's going to be having a title fight here. Probably the winner of Gaethje and gosh. Anyway, the UFC, there's so many names.
I know, and there's so many different little branches of it. Do you know when the Poirier fight is?
I haven't seen when the next Poirier fight is, but I'm happy you brought that up, Nate, because we got the Masvidal Colby Covington coming on next weekend, or it's when we're in Calgary, so we'll be finding a bar to watch that.
You know what's sick about that?
What's that?
Well, the time change, so it's going to be like way earlier in the day. So we're going to be
for sure. I think it's March 5th. I think it's March 5th, so that would mean it's before.
Oh.
So it's next weekend is Colby Covington, and so we'll have to maybe look into buying that.
There's got to be something on the... Oh, no, yeah, we won't be there for any of them. All right, well, moving along with that.
But Conor McGregor's going to return in July, it sounds like, Nate, so I don't know who he's going to fight, but, it seems like, it doesn't matter how many losses this guy compiles in a row, he'll get a good matchup.
100%.
In the UFC.
Well, they know it's going to sell. Like, you got to, So.
Nate, you want to talk about Gavin Tucker?
Gavin Tucker, this Canadian UFC fighter, I believe he hails from Newfoundland. Is that right?
Yeah, St. John's,
trains out of Halifax occasionally.
That's right. Yeah.
We've heard some wild stuff, man. Am I going spring breakers here or what?
I can chime in and you chime in, but Gavin Tucker, obviously a UFC fighter. He just announced he's going to be fighting in 6 weeks. But if you're a Maritimer, you might have heard these stories. But and Gavin, if you're listening, we're not saying that these are true. Or,
we don't want any trouble.
We don't want any trouble.
Sure.
But apparently this guy, an individual kind of was dating his ex-girlfriend. And I think just the moral of the story before we get into it is don't go after a UFC fighter's ex-girlfriend.
No.
Do you want to start off in the apartment scene? You want to set the scene?
Yeah, I do. So, just to touch on what Greg said. You do not want to go after a UFC fighter's girlfriend. That's pretty common knowledge.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll set the scene for you, ladies and gentlemen, here. It's April 11th, 2009. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm playing. But apparently, this guy started dating Gavin Tucker's ex-girlfriend.
Yes.
And he found out about it, and I mean, I've heard all kinds of countless stories of how he gets into the apartment, but apparently they're like hooking up. He's like naked sleeping or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, I heard scaled the building.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Like, I don't know about scaling the building. I also heard someone said he got dropped out of a 747 and absolutely swaned. No, but anyway, I guess he like scales up the balcony, comes in the house and just beats the wheels off the guy. Like starts punching him while he's asleep. So this guy wakes up getting rocked.
Yep.
So that's like one part of the story.
And then all of a sudden, so this same guy, this girl, it was kind of a few weeks later, like she wants to go confront him and tell him to like kind of settle down. So he pulls up to a restaurant, and the guy's obviously the new boyfriend who got the wheels kicked out of him when he was sleeping is out in the car. So the girlfriend goes in to confront him, and all of a sudden, this lunatic MMA fighter comes flying out of the restaurant. The guy forgets to lock the door. I guess he pulls him out of the car and beats the wheels off of him for the second time.
In the Boston Pizza parking lot. Yeah. Which leads us into the third one. Apparently he's at a Walmart. This part, you remember this part?
No.
Oh yeah, it's the same story at the Walmart. So he comes in, he like locks out the doors, he rips him out of the car and beats the crap out of him again. Wheels all over the parking lot.
And I guess story has it that the cops have showed up to this scene and said, who did this? And they said Gavin Tucker, and they would leave.
They said, oh, no, we're not messing with Gavin Tucker. So apparently this guy is above the law enforcement. And he can scale buildings. He's a full force. We got to get this guy on Amazing Race.
Holy smokes!
So anyway, we just that's that.
But yeah, that's a story we heard. But yeah, we'll be following Gavin Tucker in 6 weeks when he fights. And I mean, obviously, he comes in with some serious. Anyway, I'm not even gonna get into it. But but listen, Nate,
we're winning record on the streets.
Oh yeah, he's undefeated in the streets. But Nate, post game show. Fire Wagon and Dog Water of the Week. Just bringing home episode 20 of season 2, Nate. You got any Fire Wagons and Dog Waters?
Yeah, I got a Fire Wagon. I believe we'll probably both have the same dog water. No? Okay.
We'll see.
Well, anyway, my Fire Wagon of the Week is Christian Eriksen.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
We recall he during Euro, he went into cardiac arrest on the field. He played his first professional game since then. I believe that was June. So, I mean, he's almost a year out. So, Fire Wagon of the Week, 100% Christian Eriksen, back playing soccer. Love to see it. Happy for him. And he's an absolute Fire Wagon of the Week, no doubt about it.
I love it, man. I love it. My Fire Wagon of the Week is a guy by the name of Austin Matthews. Okay. This guy's got 31 goals in his last 30 games. Might even be 32 in his last 30 games. I mean, 77 goals in his last 100 games. He's just, kind of, establishing himself as one of the best 5-on-5 goal scorers that we've ever seen in the NHL.
Yes.
And, he's been playing very well. And I know that, we're hesitant to give Leafs praise a lot of the time on this show, but this Austin Matthews guy is just such an incredible player. One of the best in the league and very dominant. He's worked on his two-way game. I mean, the other night he went 17-2 in the face-off circle. He's been incredible defensively. He strips the puck very well in the neutral zone as well, Nate.
Well, I remember looking back at his first game. I remember he just absolutely strips Erik Karlsson down the wall and then just goes
4 bingos.
Yeah. So,
but that's my Fire Wagon of the Week, Nate. Who's your dog water?
My dog water is just Russia.
Okay.
Coming into
I'll agree with
Ukraine,
that.
So
for sure.
That's mine. It's senseless. It's foolish. It doesn't need to be done. And that's it. I don't want to touch too much on it just because I'm not like highly educated in it either. So
for sure, Nate, and I'll hop on with that as well. And in 2022, it's very scary to see. I just didn't think that we'd come to this in today's day and age. But yeah, obviously we're thinking about and just extremely sad, extremely shocked with everything going on in the Ukraine, and we hope that things can be resolved without
further
loss of life.
Yeah, exactly. Just some of the stuff you see is outrageous. And another dog water is these Russian soldiers posting TikToks of like them invading mood. It's like, what are you guys saying? Like, it's a really weird thing. But praying for Ukraine.
We are for sure. And that'll conclude episode 20, season 2. So we'll be back on Friday. As always, we appreciate you guys listening in. Go follow on all of our social accounts, and you guys are the best.
It's absolutely rock and roll.